one single threat shook the entire world. Yes, US President Donald Trump declared there will be either peace in Gaza or nothing will remain. And within hours of the warnings, Israel and Hamas agreed to ceasefire. Is Trump once again the kingmaker of Middle East? Or is this all just a massive political performance? Yes, Gaza, a land torn in war for over a year. Thousands dead, millions displaced. Israel said we want security. Hamas said we want freedom. What the world got was death and destruction. The United Nations expressed concern the Arab League held meeting. Yet nothing changed. And then Trump entered the scene. The man who does not just talk, he pretends. Let's see what is happening between Gaza and Israel, and how could Trump be a kingmaker between Gaza and Israel. Let's see.
You could have peace, if you think about it, peace in the Middle East for the first time in, they say, really 3,000 years.
Israel and America confident the exchange of 48 hostages, 20 of whom are believed to be alive, is imminent. Donald Trump promising Hamas's complete obliteration if it doesn't also relinquish power in Gaza in the deal.
We get the hostages back almost immediately. Negotiations are going on right now. Will probably take a couple of days. And people are very happy about it.
Since the US president demanded Israel's restraint, health authorities say 85 people have died, revealing cracks between the US and its closest ally.
You can't have an exchange of hostages. You can't, obviously bring them out if bombs are going off and active combat is occurring.
There's no ceasefire in place at this point in time, although there has been this temporary halt in certain bombings.
Cold comfort for the Palestinians unconvinced. They're mourning those who could be the war's final victims on the eve of its second anniversary. In London, Ben Downey, 7 News.
Here in Sydney, Palestinian supporters are now staging a Gaza vigil. Live to Paul Kadak. Paul, they're marking a sensitive date.
Angela, hundreds of people have gathered here at Town Hall for this vigil tonight to commemorate and to mourn all of the Palestinians who've been killed in Gaza. Tomorrow, October 7th, marking 2 years since the conflict began after the Hamas-led attack that claimed some 1,200 Israeli lives, while Israel's retaliation, Gaza health authorities say, has killed more than 66,000 people. A death toll that continues to rise despite calls for the bombing of Gaza to stop in light of the US Peace Plan. Tomorrow, the Palestine Action Group will be arguing in court. It should be able to hold a rally on Sunday afternoon, finishing at the Sydney Opera House as part of a nationwide march for Palestine. Police have objected to the Opera House location for what it calls public safety concerns, arguing it should happen elsewhere. Both sides will make their case in the Supreme Court tomorrow.
That Hamas has said that it agrees to release all Israeli hostages, both alive and dead, under President Trump's Gaza proposals. In fact, that's not the only thing that they appear to have agreed to. In fact, I think they have agreed to leaving Gaza as well, from what we can gather. But President Trump has released the following statement saying, based on a statement issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for a lasting peace. Israel now must immediately stop bombing Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly. Right now, it's far too dangerous to do that. We are already in discussions on details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone. This is about long-sought peace in the Middle East. So, look, here we go. Here's some detail for you on what Hamas has said that they are willing to agree to. They agreed to immediately engage in negotiations through mediators and reiterated its agreement to hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body of independent technocrats. That is massive. Really. Now, Qatari mediators have confirmed to Reuters that they've received this response. Hamas added that it appreciates the Arab, Islamic and international efforts, as well as those by President Trump. And a senior Hamas official told Al Jazeera that they will hand over the hostages, all of them. However, to do it within the 72-hour time frame set by President Trump is unrealistic. Just to say on this, and James rightly pointed this out, if we just bring up the front of the Independent, this just shows you, this gives you an indication of how quickly this story's moved. Because the front of the Independent, which has gone to print and will be hitting people's doormats tomorrow morning, Trump promises hell if Hamas don't accept Gaza Peace Plan by Sunday. That was the line about 6 hours ago. In the meantime, then, Hamas have come out and then Trump's reacted to it. So it just gives you a sense of the pace. Before we get the views of my panel here, we can go to America, to Washington, where Ben Leo is. He's going to be doing his show there tonight. But Ben, I mean, this is huge, right? It's a huge day, it's a huge news, and actually it's huge for President Trump. It's huge for everyone, really.
Yeah, evening, Patrick and viewers. Yeah, it's a massive development, and it makes you think, it makes you wonder, what about the pro-Palestine Action March in London later on today, on Sunday? Surely now, with the hostages hopefully being released, dead or alive, and by the way, on that point, I just wonder how Hamas is going to treat any hostages who are still alive. I mean, what's to stop them from killing them? That's one concern. But secondly, with Israel being told by Trump to stop bombing Gaza, Hamas handing over control to the Palestinian Authority, and the hostages being released, should this march in London tomorrow even go ahead anyway? Surely the situation, it looks like, is being resolved. Or is it, as we suspect all along, just an excuse to go Jew bashing? So who knows? I'd argue that you don't need to go marching tomorrow because we're on the precipice of this whole situation being sorted out once and for all. It's an interesting conversation to have, at least. Elsewhere on the show tonight, I have one big question really on my mind. I've literally just flown back from London. I saw my kids for a couple of days, came back into the UK, and I've come straight to the studio. And the one question on my mind tonight, Patrick and viewers and listeners, was how many times has our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, said or uttered the word Islamist or Islamic extremism since taking power in July last year? Of course, the MI5 watch list is chock-a-block with mostly Islamists, 40-odd thousand on there, and we've had decades and decades of Islamic terror attacks. I don't think, and I've scoured speeches, I've scoured newspapers, I've even taken to AI to try and find, I don't think Keir Starmer has said the word Islamist once since July last year. But he's trigger-happy in saying far right, isn't he? He was at the conference banging on about Tommy Robinson's march the other day, calling it far right and how it sows division. So in light of Manchester, we know now that it was an Islamist attack, according to counter-terror police. I just wonder when Keir Starmer will utter that one key word, Islamist. When is he going to call them out? Or maybe is he trying to keep them at a distance for reasons unknown?
Well, we accepted the deal, as did all the world. It was President Trump's plan. Hamas says that it accepted the deal. Now the onus is on Hamas. This plan consists of two parts. The first part is releasing all the hostages. Israel makes a tactical withdrawal, stays in Gaza. And then the second part is meant to demilitarize Gaza and disarm Hamas. That will be negotiated. But the first part is there. It's agreed upon. And that could be indeed the beginning of the end of the war. And as I said, since we accepted it, we have to see what Hamas will do. If Hamas will accept it, I think it's a very good sign. If Hamas doesn't accept it, and it's a possibility that we always take into mind, then Israel will receive, as President Trump says, the full support of the United States to forcefully act against it, to bring about an end to the war. I prefer, obviously, that we proceed with the plan as presented, but time will tell, and it won't take very long. In a few days, we'll know if Hamas agrees to the release of all our hostages. We can move forward. That is complete phase one of the deal. That's what we're trying to do right now.
Prime Minister, just to follow up, so what happens if Hamas does not release the hostages? What will Israel do? How Israel will change its stance and the strategy?
Well, you have to realize that the reason Hamas agreed in the first place to this deal is because we acted militarily against their main stronghold, the city of Gaza. I gave an order to several weeks ago to the army to enter that stronghold, and as a result, Hamas became, I would say, a lot more flexible because they realized that their end is near. Add to that President Trump's intervention and the plan that he put for ending the conflict by having the hostages released first. That I think sealed this this situation in a positive way. Now, of course, I can't tell you if Hamas will agree to it. I think that it's possible. I hope it'll happen. but I can't guarantee that it'll happen. And so if it doesn't happen, what President Trump has said is that he will back Israel completely in acting forcefully against Hamas. Well, let's hope that that we can finish it the easy way and not the hard way.
If you believe the world needs humanity, not war, share this video and tell us in the comments, is Donald Trump truly the messenger of peace or just the master of politics? Please subscribe too.